Hi guys, welcome back to LPB Racing for the historic Open Wheel Championship on Project Cars 2. This is the final race of the season then of round 7 at Silverstone Classic in the Lotus 98T. And in qualifying it was Bidzster on pole, Stevie in second with that overboost as I mentioned in the first race, third for Neil, and then it's fourth Callum, TY in fifth in the darker blue car, Blaney sixth in the red and white car, Roral seventh, and then it's Stacker in 8th and Bradders unfortunately in 9th place. As we get ready for the start of this race then. Here we go, revs rise, lights out and we're off. Bidzster gets a lot of wheel spin, Neil gets a good start and a lot of people bogged down at the back. Stevie alongside Bidzster into the first corner. Bidzster goes round the outside of him. And in the mid-pack there's Blaney, Neil and a few others. Neil gets sideways. TY goes off the track and Stacker goes through as well as we look back to the leaders. Bidzster then in the lead from Stevie. Then in the mid-pack we've got Roral, Blaney close together, and then we've got Stacker, Bradders, Callum all together. It's a blue car sandwich. There's Stacker, TY and Callum very close together at that corner there. As we go down the straight then, Stevie there in second. We've got Blaney and Roral side by side for third place with Blaney up the inside. Pit stop race this one, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, there is no pit stop on the first two or the last two laps. Between 3 and 30 will be the pit stops. As we go around that corner nicely, a few people a bit wide in the background. There's Bradders, Callum goes through. A little bit far, well, way too fast off for Callum. Right off into the wall there for him. But meanwhile, Bidzster in the lead of the race then. Down towards the Woodcut chicane. 6/10 of a gap already, and he's lost it! Way too fast, bang! Hits the tyre wall, tyres go everywhere. Bidzster's spun round, he's going to get the car spun round. Now he's got to wait for everyone. As Roral and Neil go through. There's Bidzster, Stacker goes through. And Bidzster rejoins in 8th place, so Bidzster throws his race away then. As Stevie with that extra overboost that I mentioned in the first place, where he can get up to 190 miles an hour and everyone else is stuck at 170 or 165, is in the lead of the race. Roral then in third. Nice third for Roral, behind Blaney still into the right-hander, onto the hanger straight then through Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel and onto the straight. Everyone close together. Bradders in the background trying to close on TY. Remember the pit stop race in this one, so very going to be about strategy as well, but Bidzster will be kicking himself at the back. He's got a lot of work to do here. Into the corner goes Bidzster, up on the curb, pushing hard. So Blaney in second place then. Oh, we've got a car running wide in the background. TY running very wide there, but Neil Farmack in the draft then of Roral closes right up to him. Right up to the back of Roral he goes, down to the next corner. Neil Farmack looking up the inside, Roral not phased. But he is phased, he goes a bit wide there, compromises his line. He's going to run wide out the exit of the corner. Neil Farmack's going to be right behind him, but throws it away into the wall. Neil Farmack throws it away, TY right behind him then. TY right behind Roral up the inside into Copps, round Copps' corner. And TY goes through, but Roral tries to fight back on the outside, can't quite do it. Neil Farmack down to 8th place after that spin then. Bidzster back in the fray, trying to close up then. He's right behind Stacker now. Through Maggots, goes to the inside for Beckett's. And inside Beckett's, he gets the move done on Stacker. As we've got Neil Farmack's off in the background as Roral then, with Bradders behind him, so Roral up to 4th place, Bradders down to 5th, TY in 3rd place, then TY makes a move up to 3rd. So TY pressing on in this race. Bidzster still in the middle of his comeback, 6th place now for Bidzster, and he's got his teammate right in front of him. Bradders moves out to defend, not going to let his teammate through with ease. As we go through Club corner, through Club. Bidzster gets a fantastic run, he's up the inside of his teammate and goes through into 5th place. Bradders not making it too hard for him, just help him out and then he'll hopefully get a good pull along from his teammate. TY still in 3rd, Stevie out front, 6 seconds ahead of the rest, but with that extra overboost, do we expect anything less? Blaney in 2nd, TY in 3rd, Roral in 4th, Bidzster 5th, Bradders behind him in 6th place, Stacker closing in 7th as well, so Stacker's not out of this yet as Neil Farmack and Callum come through, so the pack a bit more closer in this race, which is good. There goes Neil Farmack catching up to the back of Stacker, into Beckett's. goes quite wide there, so does Neil Farmack, and Callum goes really wide onto the grass, so Callum really struggling with his car still in the dry weather as Bidzster then behind Rural. Bidzster behind Rural, pulls out towards Stoke Corner, up the inside he goes, and straight through past Rural, making it look like child's play. So Rural then down to 5th place, he'll try and stick with him if he can. Next target for Bidzster is TY. So Bidzster really pumped up here after that mistake. TY's next in 3rd place. And TY is only 1.3 seconds behind Blakeney. So this is where the pit stops could start happening, guys. So have to watch out for that as well. So Stevie continues round. Blakeney, TY, Bidzster over the curbs, really pushing hard here. Roll in 5th. Bradders in 6th. 7th for Stacker. And Neil and Callum battling out for 8th place. So Callum back on the back of right on the back of Neil now. So Callum is someone to fight in this race, which is good. Good for morale. Into Copse Corner. Neil Farmack takes a good line into there. A lot of speed as well. And continues on his way as Blakeney and TY then are only 3/10 apart now. So TY's right on the back of Blakeney here. Bidzster trying to close in the background. So TY in the draft of Blakeney, then down towards Stoke Corner at the end of the Hanger Straight. 165 to 170 miles an hour at the end. And right into the corner. And Stevie now 9 seconds ahead of these boys, because Stevie can go up to 190 miles an hour with that extra boost he found that he wasn't willing to share. And you can see the pace there. Right up. 10 seconds, he's pulled out 1 second on that straight alone by the extra 20 miles an hour. So if this is a victory for Stevie, it'll be quite hollow to say that. But Bidzster then in 4th. Blakeney still with TY harassing the back of him, but Blakeney a very nice line through there, very tidy. Bit narrower on the way out, but again you can get away with that different line as Bidzster then closes on to the back of these two with every lap. Let's have a look further back. We've got Bradders in. Oh, what an avoidance! Stacker comes out the corner and just avoids the side of Bradders by millimetres. But Stacker goes through into 6th place then. Bradders down to 7th. Some very close stuff there. As we look now at Blakeney and TY, still 3/10 apart. TY within drafting range here. Building up towards 170 miles an hour. The big wing on the back of this car, sticking the car to the ground. Giving it some really good speed into the corners. These 80s cars were made for drivers with balls of steel. Absolute balls of steel. Over 1,000 horsepower. We're up to 1,300 horsepower in qualifying mode. And 170 miles an hour with all that downforce as well. These things were rapid back in the day. Proper motorsport, proper cars, not the technological idiotic toys of today. Proper cars, 3 pedals, round steering wheel, not much in the way of power steering. They've got to really wrestle these cars round as TY goes up the inside. Oh, Blakeney into Copse Corner. Blakeney's not giving up though, right round the outside of him. Stitch that, TY. Not having it your way, sunshine. You've got to try harder than that. But Blakeney pulls a cracking defensive round the outside, but TY's not phased. Looks to the inside. Blakeney covers off. Into Beckett's we go. Blakeney running a very good race so far. Nice and defensive, but gets a little bit of a twitch out of there. He'll lose a bit of speed. Bidzster's trying to catch up in 4th, but can't quite close up yet. So they're coming up to lap Callum now, who's fallen off the back of Neil. So unfortunately Callum's had a major spin somewhere and fallen back off the pace. And Stevie then 12 seconds ahead, extending the gap by 1.5 seconds a lap with that extra help from the boost. As TY then, if any of you guys are wondering what that boost is that Stevie's got, it's basically, we've all got it, it's the turbo over boost, but we didn't know that if you hold the button down you get an extra load of boost and you go up to about 190 miles an hour, whereas the rest of us were only doing a 165, 170 miles an hour, so it's a big difference. It's like having an extra 100 horsepower on demand. So that's why Stevie's so far in front, as Blakeney then with TY behind him, still the battle of the race. Bidzster closing up, still trying to close up. We've got Neil Farmack and Stacker having a nice little battle back here as well into the Woodcut chicane with Bradders just behind. So some nice little batches of battles going on track here, as I think we've got Callum in the pits doing his pit stop nice and early. Get it out of the way, so Callum stops for his pit box and changing tyres are underway. Bradders closes up as Neil Farmack gets right behind Stacker now. Possible move on the way here, but let's have a look at Blakeney and TY as well. They're close as well, but no, not as close as these boys. Stacker then having to defend from Neil, who goes, whoa, Stacker goes very deep into the corner. just misses the grass. Now he's got to fiddle about for a gear as Neil Farmack's up to speed. He'll go behind him in the draft. He'll move to the left, try and use a bit of the overboost. Stacker will try and compensate by using his as well. Stacker on the inside line, Neil on the outside, and Neil drives right around the outside of him, just carries this momentum into the corner and goes straight through. So does a Mansell on PK and goes straight through. Meanwhile, Blakeney's still holding off TY. Really good defensive driving this from Blakeney. Just moves the car out to the right enough to defend, but not enough to compromise the line. Blakeney, who was when he first started with LPB Racing, was running at the back and then was running at the midfield. Now he is a top runner in LPB Racing. That just shows you that hard work does pay off. Blakeney then up the inside, defending the inside. TY has a little look but can't quite get through yet as we go onto the straight. Then Bidzster closing up again, still trying to close up, but he closes up and then backs off. So it looks like he's met his match with the pace here as TY closes up to the back of Blakeney. Blakeney doesn't bother to defend. TY goes up the inside, straight through. Does he go wide? Yes, he does. TY doesn't just go wide; he slides that car. Never knew you could enter a Lotus 98T in a Formula Drift competition and succeed, but TY just did. But TY will have very warm rear tyres now and quite a few flat spots, I would imagine, so got to be careful from now on. But TY one mistake and he's down to fourth place as Bidzster out to third, ready to chase Blakeney. We'll have to back off a bit for the TY move, but Bidzster very quick through that last chicane now. He was very slow in the first race with the wet line, but in this race he is right up behind Blakeney now into Cops Corner. Again, trying to watch out for pit stops here, guys, but no one's made a pit stop yet apart from Callum. So Callum's made a pit stop and he's continuing on. Neil Farmack then in fifth with Stacker in sixth. Is TY spun? TY spun again, so TY, well, it looks like he's got Bidzster's jinx from a few seasons ago. When you spin once, you spin a load of times until you like get three of them out of the way. But Bidzster and Blakeney, Bidzster goes for the inside and Blakeney then into Stowe, surprises him. Blakeney squeezes Bidzster into a mistake, not giving him an inch at all. And Blakeney relentless in his defence. Bidzster luckily just about saw it coming, but that was a bit of a squeeze by Blake. But again, it was fairish racing there. So hats off for trying and for Bidzster, and hats off for a very harsh but good defence by Blakeney. As Brad is then trying to close up to the back of Stacker. So again, a good little battle brewing here for sixth place as we go out the corner. And Blakeney's still with Bidzster harassing him. Blakeney defends into Cops Corner. There you go, it goes wide though. Bidzster will get a good run here and be able to get past before the next corner. Yep, he does. Goes straight past because Blakeney loses momentum there. Through Maggots takes the lead. Bidzster defends the inside just to make sure, because Blakeney's going to go right back round the outside of him. But not having any of that is Bidzster and gets on with it. Gets on the power. Let's have a little look from the onboard of Blakeney, and we're closing up to the back of Bidzster here. Bidzster doesn't bother to defend and just goes nicely into the corner. Bit of a slide through the mid-corner. Oh, Blakeney goes wide onto the grass, just trying to keep with him. So both pushing very hard indeed. And look at the gap to the ones in front. Stevie 20 seconds ahead. Ridiculous amount of gap, especially with that boost that he's got. But again, I am going to ramble on about it until he learns to share these little hidden features with everyone else to keep it fair. So Bidzster then into the Woodcut chicane. Very, very fast lines through there, pushing hard, trying to close the gap to Stevie, even though Stevie's got the straight line advantage. Bidzster at this point didn't know about this, and he only found out after this race. So, but Bidzster pushing hard through the corners to try and catch up any way he can. Neil in fifth. Rural, I've got to give another shout out to. Rural in a fantastic fourth place in the dry weather as well. So Rural are very, very good on here, and just slides a bit wide there, but very good driving so far. As Stacker's still in sixth place. Brad is in seventh. Oh, right up over the curb there. That's a bit of a risky line from Bradders, but all's well that ends well. As T. White goes through in eighth. So Stacker and Bradders. So Stacker goes a bit wide there, but so does Bradders. So both of them still 1.1 seconds between each other. Now again, we've got to watch out for pit stops in this, because people have to make a pit stop. They have to change all 4 tyres. Can't be on the first 2 laps, but we're already on lap 12 now. But it can't be on the last 2 laps. The last lap to pit is lap 30. Once you start 31, the pit lane is closed for you. So that is going to be one thing to watch out for. So strategy and pace. Blaney's still in a solid 3rd place, even though Bidzster is pulling away now, 3.7 seconds ahead. So Bidzster, I can tell you, does not have a boost button. I can tell you that does not have an over excessive boost. Bidzster was doing what everyone else does and presses it once, and just to get a little bit of a boost, and that's it. There's a little bit of the turbo overrun, but Stevie found a way to hold the button down and gain more boost that none of us knew about apart from him. As TY goes through in 7th. Slides the car out wide. Very lucky to get away with that, because sometimes clipping the grass like that can be your fate of ending up in the wall. So TY running on the ragged edge of adhesion here to try and keep with Bradders and Stacker. Stacker, I've got to give a shout out to as well. A fantastic 5th place for him so far. Got to be in it to win it, and got to keep circulating to capitalise on the positions lost by others. So well done to him. As Neil Farmer then in 8th place, all the way back down in 8th. Rural in 4th, still going around very well indeed. So this is the main battle on track at the minute. We've got TY closing up to the back of Bradders here. So Bradders being caught by TY after the few spins that TY had. TY's definitely got the pace. It's just the consistent driving that he needs to work on. Onto the brakes into Woodcote. TY closes right up, but again he runs a bit wide. Down through the corner, Bradders takes a fantastic line through there and pulls out a couple of tenths on TY. But then down to Copse. Let's see if we can maintain that as we go into Copse. Doesn't go widely over the curve this time, but does run very wildly wide as TY then goes through and just avoids him as Bradders comes back on track. But one mistake for Bradders and that's it, down a position. Just ran the car in a bit too hot into the corner, couldn't quite get it stopped, and he just does the same there again. So Bradders just a bit more brake into the corners, mate, watch the speed off and then get the power down. That'll help you out a lot. So TY then is back with his teammate Stacker, who's just ahead of him. So Stacker is ahead on track, and Stacker is still fighting out for 10th and 11th place. As we got Bradders off in the background again. So Bradders having a lap where he likes more of the grass than he does everything else. Bidzster on the move though, 17 seconds behind Stevie now from 20. So that's closed that down over the last 3 laps or so. So still going very well here. This could be nearer the pit stop window, because a lot of people want to pit sort of mid-race or just after mid-race while the tyres are still working. And goes through. Stacker then. Still TY is closing up on his teammate there, 6 tenths behind him again, risking that outside curb again, very risky. Bradders then gets that corner right this time and presses on. So Stacker then 5th, neatly through, just runs a bit wide there though, can't quite find a gear as TY closes up onto the straight. And Stevie's not pitted this time, no, neither is Bidzster. Bidzster goes round very nicely over the curbs there from Bidzster. Blakeney there in 3rd, he's not pitting yet either, so Blakeney goes round again. 4th for Rural, he's still going round, and Stacker is actually closing on him. So Rural's made a little mistake there probably somewhere, and Stacker's only 4 seconds behind him now. So 4.5 seconds behind, he's pulling his teammate along with him as well. So nice to see Stacker with the pace between the teammates for a change, which is good. Stacker proving his worth here in LPB racing. As TY closes right up on the brakes though, so TY now closes right up. Will we see a swap of position here? TY goes to the inside. Stacker doesn't make it too hard for his teammate. Into Cox corner, backs off before the apex and just lets TY have a bit of room, and then now he'll follow his teammate round. So Rural then goes through in 4th. Bradders hasn't pitted yet either. Neil no, and obviously Callum already has. So there's Stevie out of Copse corner. Bidzster coming down towards the Woodcut chicane. That's the gap between them at the minute. So Bidzster didn't help himself by throwing it away at first. But again, he's got to try really hard to combat that extra boost that Stevie's got. TY then still ahead of his teammates. Stacker still just about struggling to stay with him now. He had the pace at first, but TY now is on a comeback. He's really loving the feel of the car and driving the wheels off it. Let's see if we see any pit stops this time. Roral's gone through, no pit stop for him. Blakeney as well. TY, is he going to win the pits this time? Yes! TY into the pits then. First of the front runners to pit is TY into the pit lane. Slow it down for this left-hander. Oh, hits the wall. As Brad is going to come in. TY's there. Neil coming in now. So just TY then, who's into the pits for his mandatory pit stop. Neil Farmack comes through in 8th, so he's not pitted yet either. So Callum and... Oh, Stevie's into the pits from the lead. Stevie's in the pits from the lead. Will Bidzster pit this time and... or will he try and go around and build up some laps? Let's have a look. So Stevie's in. No, Bidzster comes in as well. So Bidzster thinks, right, I'm going to keep on par with Stevie here on the pace. Flat out into the pit lane goes Bidzster. Towards the line. There we go. So Stevie's in his box having his tyres changed. Bidzster's just coming down the pit lane now. So Stevie's on his way. So a bit of a gap between them two still. As Blakeney's in as well. So everyone decided to pit at once here. Roral, will he pit? So Blakeney's in as well. TY is out then in 8th place. Callum's still on the grass. So he's really struggling with this car, Callum. So Blakeney's in. Bidzster's in his box. He's in the first box and he's just leaving before Blakeney comes past him. So Blakeney goes through. And now he goes into his box. Up on the jacks for his pit stop. Roral goes through then. Roral's not pitting yet. He's going to go through and try and make up some places here. Blakeney in the pit. Stacker goes through in 5th as well. Bradders goes through, so no one else deciding to pit yet. Neil is now. Neil's deciding to pit, so Neil comes in for his pit stop. As Blakeney goes out the pit lane then, Neil comes in for his pit stop. So Roral now in 2nd place. Bidzster in 3rd, but remember Roral hasn't pitted yet, so Bidzster closing on Roral. It's like watching the first race again, but Roral hasn't pitted yet. There's Blakeney then out the pits in 6th place. Neil Farmack coming into the pit box now. TY coming towards the last corner. TY will go through on Neil here then, so Neil's just in the pit lane now. TY will go through and Neil will be back down to 8th place in a moment. There we go, swap round. Neil's just leaving the pits now. And I can tell you, as we all came out the pits, the cars were a lot slower in a straight line. But for some reason, I don't know whether it's the actual extra stickiness of the tyres, because they were good around the corners, but just they were hopeless on the straights. Could not get above 165 miles an hour, but everyone's still pushing hard to try and make up positions as Roral then gets caught up by Bidzster there in the chicane. Stacker comes through as well. He's not pitted yet still. Bradders is into the pits now. Bradders pits now. Blakeney comes through in 6th. 7th is TY, so Bradders might come out closer to TY here. We'll have to see. Oh, he was going into the pits, but he seems to have missed it. So he must have missed the pit lane entrance. So he's gone round again, and he gets passed by Blakeney on track, and has to go around. So slightly embarrassing moment there for Bradders, but nothing quite like Spa in the earlier on in the season, where he couldn't find his pit box until we showed him how to find it. But still, Bradders goes round, still got some decent pace to him, so it's not ruined his race completely. As Roral and Bidzster then close. Roral still hasn't pitted yet, but Bidzster's getting held up behind him now, doesn't want this. Wants to try and close into Stevie if he can, but Bidzster gets a move on Roral at the inside of Abbey. Oh, what a move! Tries to go up the inside, but hasn't got the speed, because the cars that haven't pitted yet have got more straight line speed. Bidzster hasn't got any straight line speed in that car anymore, but he has got cornering speed, which he closes right up to Roral doing. Out of the corner, oh, Roral hits the wall! Hits the wall, and Bidzster could not avoid him there, but did well to avoid the major contact, and Roral resumes in 3rd place after a very scary moment there. So as Brad has found the pit lane this time, let's watch him this time. So he goes into the pits. Doesn't go straight on this time, there we are, that's where he went straight on last time I think. Then goes round the yellow bit, round the corner, turn, oh, he'll use the wall. And then continue round, and then you'll find the cones round here. Bradders somewhere, there they are, and now he's in the pits. So Bradders makes his pit stop on lap 19. TY closes up there. We're close between Bradders and Neil probably on the way out the pit, so we'll have to watch out for that as well. As Bidzster still pushing on very, very hard here, trying to catch Stevie, but again, Stevie with that extra boost in a straight line, I don't think that's going to happen at all. As, oh, is that Stacker or TY? Stacker's gone round as well, but TY's gone round as well, so two of the teammate cars go round as Stacker. Where's he spun there? I can't see. Is that the pit lane exit? It's the pit lane exit he's spun. So spins out the pit lane and Stacker comes through in 6th. There's Neil, where's Bradders? Coming out of the pit lane now, so Neil goes through. Stacker's lost a lot of places then, a lot of time. So Stacker spins round there and tries to find. Oh, get out of 5th gear, Stack. Get out of 5th. Get in 4th. Get the power down. Neil closes up to the back of him, moves out to make the move on the outside. Stacker's on the inside. Just gives him a little bit of a squeeze. Neil goes right around the outside and out brakes him into the next corner. So Neil Farmack takes 6th place with a bold move around the outside of Stacker there. So I think more or less everyone's done the pit stop now. So Stevie with the extra boost in the lead, 19 seconds ahead of Bidzster in 2nd place, and he's behind. He's in front of Roral. Actually, Roral hasn't pitted yet, so we'll have to see where Roral comes out after his stop. But Roral's still not pitted yet. Blakeney in 3rd, he's pitted. TY in 5th, he's definitely pitted as well. Neil has. Stacker's into the pits now, so Stacker can't have pitted then. He must have made a mistake on that other lap, so Stacker then goes right down the field. There goes Bradders through, and Stacker goes right down to the back of the field then, so he's had to make another pit stop. So let's have a look at Roral then, coming through. Still not pitted yet as Roral, round through the chicane. Building up the speed down towards Copse. Through Copse corner very nicely through. Oh, goes very wide. Nice entrance, but a bit of a uncomfortable exit. There goes Stacker. There's Callum. He's still coming round. He's still a lap behind Stacker here. So Stacker is going to rejoin in a definite 8th place here. Gets on the power out the pit lane and gets on with his race. So the battle on track to watch out for at the minute is TY and Neil. So it's 2.5 seconds between the two in the favour of TY. There's Neil just coming over the bridge in the back, under the bridge in the background. So let's show you this speed deficit that I'm on about then. So let's go on board with Stevie then. As you can see, the speed in kilometres on the right hand side of the dash. So here we go through the corner. Watch the speed on the right hand side. They'll go into 5th gear, and he'll hold down the button. In fact, he might not do it on this straight, might do it on the other straight round the back. Let's see what he does as we go into the corner. Nice lines from Stevie, good driving, but just a shame about not sharing that little bit of information with everyone, which sort of has put a dampener on it, a dampener on his win really. Let's see here. Into 5th. There he is, he's holding it now. You can see him holding it now. Look at the speed in kilometres on the right hand side. 305, 6, 310, which is about 190 miles an hour into the corner. Now let's watch Bidzster. Yes, he's got a bit of a cracked screen, but let's see. So Bidzster then, same portion of track. Yes, he has got a draft from Bradders as well. And Bidzster leaving it in 4th gear because it's not got the speed in 5th. Look, 265 kilometres an hour. So that is a big difference even with the draft between Bidzster and the others. And just to prove, let's go on board with another car. Just to prove the point as well. Here's on board with Blakeney. 267, 270, so it's still a long way off what Stevie's doing, and that is the reason why Stevie is purely 20 seconds ahead of everyone else, because he knows a bit of information that we all didn't, and he wasn't willing to share it. So Stevie then in 1st, Bidzster in 2nd. And I don't care if people comment putting that why are you slagging Stevie off? Well, I'm slagging him off because he's not shared the information, and it's the same that goes for everyone. You will get stitched up if you don't sort of share things or be fair So this is not me having a go at Stevie. I do like Stevie. He's a very good racer, and I do like having him in LPB racing. He's a fair racer. He does have his fair share of crashes and sometimes, but don't we all? But he is a good racer. It'd be a shame to lose him over this, but because this is just me just saying what I personally think. It's only an opinion, and opinions are like something in your rear end. Everyone's got one. But Stevie goes round in the lead then. Bidzster in second place. Rural in third. So Rural in third. I still don't know whether he's pitted yet or not, but it'll be found out after the race anyway, because I'll look through the replay and make sure people did pit properly. With Rural in third. Blakeney in fourth. He's doing a very good job in fourth place. Brad is in fifth. He's just been lapped by his teammate. So Bidzster laps Bradders then. Neil Farmack is only about 3 seconds behind Bradders now, so still quite a close gap between the two there. Stacker in seventh after having a bit of a big spin earlier. He's only 2 seconds ahead of his teammate TY, so TY closing back up to Stacker then. So TY's gone backwards and now he's having to close up to his teammate again. Callum, hats off to him. Ultimate trying. He's really trying to get used to this car. It's just not a car that suits him, and he's getting used to this game slowly, but Gran Turismo is Callum's game and not really project cars, but still hats off to him for continuing on and soldiering on. So here we are, Bradders and Neil then. The gap has come down to 0.6 of a second then. Into the Woodcut chicane we go. Oh, Bradders takes a bit too much track there, got to be careful. That could give him a penalty to lift off the power. We'll see, but I don't think it is doing. As we go down to Cops Corner then. Bradders takes a good line in, but Neil takes a lot more speed out the corner. Neil with a bit more confidence through the highest downforce corners into Maggots and then into Beckett's the right-hander. Bradders goes quite wide on the way in, but let's see if he gets a good run out. Gets a good run out the corner, gets up the gears, but Neil's right up his gearbox now. He's sniffing that gearbox oil, getting high on the gearbox oil, and Neil Farmack goes out side by side and then down the straight. Still side by side. I think Neil's just edging ahead, but will Bradders give up on the brakes? He's not going to give up, he's going to keep trying. Neil gives him room and goes wide onto the dust, but Neil Farmack takes position. Bradders hats off for a decent defence, but Neil just had the overrun out the corner and got the job done through Stowe Corner. As Bradders goes wide and almost eats bush, but Bradders goes wide and gets on with it. Bidzster though is still pushing on hard, 16 seconds behind Stevie, so he's actually closing the gap down. But look at the lap time. Stevie at 1 minute 10.4, Bidzster at 1:13.2. That's the difference without the boost. There's Neil Farmack and Bradders then, still 0.8 between them. Through Cops Corner. We've got TY exiting the pits there, so TY exiting the pit lane, so I don't know whether he's spun or he's actually done another pit stop, but TY exits the pits. So, and he's still a lap down on these boys though. They'll get the blue flags eventually when they get close enough. There's Neil Farmack and Bradders. Out onto the hanger straight, build up the speed. Fantastic cars to drive, these cars, and they were brilliant to watch back in the day as well. Definitely before I was born, but yes, really, really nice old cars as TY goes onto the grass there. So TY struggling with the handling, as so is Bradders. Bradders goes off as well. Callum in the background, just motoring through. Rural then in fourth, doing a very good job in fourth place is Rural here. So again, we're approaching towards the end of the pit window, so I'm still not sure whether he's pitted or not. But again, like I said earlier, guys, it will be confirmed at the end of the race whether he has pitted or not. As we go down the straight then, Rural goes towards the end of the straight. Stevie in the draft, about to come up and lap him. Should be pretty easy for Stevie with that overboost he's got. He'll probably do it after Stowe. He'll probably do it as he exits Abbey, going down towards the Woodcut chicane. It's a good time to do it, going uphill, get a bit more of a boost. So Rural will not really have to move out the way here, because Stevie will have a massive overrun into fifth gear, presses the button, and watch this. Straight past him like he stood still, and that wasn't Rural lifting off, that was just purely the overboost from Stevie's car. That is a prime example of how fast it is. And Stevie then on that lap, there's a 1:11 even with passing traffic. And Bidzster still pushing on, but can't quite do anything else in this race. So he's done a very good race as Bidzster after obviously had that incident at the start and made his way up the field. Blakeney's had a really good race as well. Fantastic race for him. Still a podium position so far for him. Roral will be quite pleased with his first race on Project Cars with a second place with the fastest lap in the first race as well. And if he finishes fourth, that'll be a good points haul for him. Even though he's only had one race with us, it'll move him way up the championship. Into the last corner then. No, not last corner, sorry, into Stowe. Sorry, get me teeth in. Roral then goes onto the grass a little bit there. Bradders is 6 seconds behind Neil now, so Neil pulling out quite a decent gap over Bradders here. So Neil getting used to the car in the end. Bradders, again, hats off to him, because at the start of the season he was all over the place with this new wheel, could not get it to work, but he's finally found some settings that work on his new Thrustmaster. I think he's gone for the 150, not the 300, but still, it's a good wheel, and he's got used to it finally. And Stacker then in 7th place. Did a good job here. TY's teammate back down in 8th. A horrible race for TY so far, as he's being lapped by Neil Farmack, always looking to unlap himself. We'll have to see which way around that's going to be in a minute. Bidzster still pushing on hard out front. Well, not out front, Steve is technically out front, but Bidzster the first of the non-excessive boost runners. Roral still there in 4th place, and who's that behind him? Is that Callum by any chance? Yes, it is. Callum still soldiering on in this race. The lines are a lot better now. Oh, I was just going to say the lines are a lot better now, and he throws it away at the corner, gets a twitch on. And if Callum's using the wheel, I think he could do with a bit more force feedback on his wheel to actually feel what the car's doing a bit more. So anyone with some good wheel settings for a Logitech G29 for this game that might suit someone who's just come off a controller, then just feel free to post them up. So obviously I used to run a Logitech G29, but I used to run on, as he goes off into the wall there, I used to run on absolutely maximum everything to get enough feel out of the wheel. So but obviously that doesn't suit Callum because he's tried it already. But we don't really know what else to suggest. As Stacker then goes off the road in 7th place. There he is. He's just gone back on behind Stevie, who's just gone up to lap him. Stevie on his penultimate lap of the race then. So is Bidzster now as well. So the 2 guys on the lead lap, or 3 should I say, Blakeney, because Blakeney will be on his lead lap as well. And Roral, I think, as well. Roral's last chance to pit is this lap. So we'll see if he does, but not quite sure if he has done his pit stop, but again, that'll all be checked for after the race, guys. Stevie then in 1st place, about to come up to start his last lap. Bidzster on the hanger straight. Blakeney there in 3rd. I think he's just lapped Neil Farmack. He's about to lap Bradders as well. So Bradders and Neil quite close together, and Bradders is ahead, obviously in 5th now. Neil back down to 6th. So Bradders doing quite well. He still goes very wide through there and can't quite fish a gear out. You look at Blakeney then, he's closing up to the back of him in 3rd position. Down the straight in the draft. Looks like one of the old Marlboro McLarens, that car. Looks quite a nice livery, that one. As we go into the Stowe corner and then up to Club. I would imagine Bradders will let him go after this corner here. Probably. As we go into the next corner, Bradders will keep to one side and Blakeney will go through. Just a little lift off the power and beautifully done there by Bradders. Let's Blakeney get through, but will that help Neil get closer? Yes, he is. He's closing up. Neil closes up here into Woodcut chicane. Start what would be their last lap because they've been lapped through the chicane and over the line. Bit of a grasp between them two. There comes Stevie towards the line. Bidzster still closing up there as well, but Neil and Bradders there, 5th and 6th. Oh, Bradders goes a bit wide there. Neil gets a run up the inside, side by side, up towards the next corner. But Stevie goes across the line, wins the race. So Stevie wins the race. Bidzster is going to be eventually through in 2nd. You've got to ask whether that's going to be a hollow victory for Stevie, but we'll see as we go with Neil Farmack and Bradders down the straight, and Neil Farmack in defensive mode from Bradders. Bradders having a stab on this last lap. As we go into the corner, almost contact there. Bradders loses out a bit of time there. Bidzster across the line for a good second place, so well done to him. Blakeney's coming through in front of that pack in third there, but there's Roral. He'll be in fourth. He's been lapped, so well done to Roral. Neil Farmack in fifth. Bradders still fighting up in for fifth place here. These two are on the last of the finishers for their current lap. So Stacker's going to be seventh, TY eighth, and Callum ninth. So well done to all them. As Blakeney comes through across the line in third, Neil Farmack fifth, and Bradders is going to finish in sixth position. As we see a car flipping, and it's Callum. Let's just have a look at that before the race ends. Bang, hits the tyre wall and flip, bang, bang, bang. What a way to end the replay, and he ends right on the side of his car. Now that is gymnastics. So we'll just get those results confirmed for you now, guys. Okay guys, here's the results from that then. So Stevie wins that race, 27 seconds ahead of Bidzster in second place. Then it is third for Blakeney, and then it is fourth for Roral. Decent finish for him again in this one. Fifth for Neil Farmack. Bradders in a good sixth. Seventh for Stacker. Eighth is TY, and unfortunately Callum in ninth place. So there's your winner in that race, Stevie, but you've got to ask whether that is a hollow victory for him with the extra boost that he had and didn't tell anyone how to use it, because we all didn't know about it, and nice for him not to share it with us. But there is your winner of the championship overall. Bidzster is the champion of the historic Open Wheel Championship, and we will see you guys next season for what is going to be a IndyCar series. We are doing the LPB IndyCar series. First race of that, which will be at the Circuit of the Americas, but this next week, guys, before that we're having a week off, but we are doing, don't worry, there'll still be a race to watch on YouTube, because we are doing a 2 times 1.2 hour Le Mans races. So we're doing one at the end of this next week, and the one at the end of the season after. So stay tuned for that, guys, because that'll be mega. So we'll see you guys next time. Take care.